Hello, everybody. I am joined once again for another Meet an Actor, but this time I'm with Krystal Shenk, who does a lot of work for Foxtrot Productions. You may have seen her in such things as Confessions of a Prostitute, or maybe the second one, for instance. Or maybe you might have seen her in The Plague, or perhaps The Plague 2, or just for the sake of it, we're The Plague 3, the whole trilogy. So that's just a few things she's been in. But how are you feeling?
All right. This is actually my first podcast interview, so interesting.
Ooh, debut. Okay, so I guess we'll get you started with how did you first get into acting?
Well, I started pretty young. I mean, I was one of those kids that created my own shows and did them for my family at home. But I started on stage. When I started, I was probably about 10, and I think my first one was a Christmas play, and I was a candy cane girl. So that's how I started. I started on stage. I never really did filming stuff until my mid-20s.
So what was your first role then? Your first main role, I suppose.
My main role in on stage or in film?
Either.
So I did a lot with school. And in high school, I was the Wicked Witch or the Wizard of Oz. I made a lot of little kids cry. So that was, interesting. And then probably, 6 or so years ago, I responded to a post on Facebook, and they were looking for extras for a series that was on YouTube for this production company called Foxtrot. What a weird name. So I responded to this very eccentric man, Amir, and I was an extra for one of their episodes for the Undead series. And that was the first thing I did with them. And the first time I was on set with them, it was a great experience. And, I wanted to do it again. I wanted to film, filming and acting on stage are night and day, apples and oranges. So it was great to get my feet wet in something small like that.
So was that a small part in that, or was that a recurring part?
I was a zombie extra in that. So I didn't even have lines or anything. I was a no-name girl that showed up from a Facebook post, and years later I became Amir's best friend and right-hand person with filming. So
clearly it was destined to be then.
Yes.
So what was your first main role for Foxtrot then? Because most of your career thus far has been with obviously Foxtrot Productions. So
yeah. Flesh of My Flesh probably was my first supporting role where I had lines. I played a hippie psychic that connects the young main character with her father.
Yes, which probably lead a story like that for people to find out what's going on in that film.
Yes, you watch to get the rest of that.
So you kind of answered this question already, but how long have you been doing it? So I guess you can probably branch out to not just your acting, but to your, obviously you do stuff behind the camera as well.
Yeah. So I started doing behind the scenes stuff a lot when I was in high school. So when I was in high school, when I wasn't on stage performing, I was backstage helping run plays. In addition to that, I liked running lights when I did stage. And then I also took TV video in high school and, a course in college. Not anything big, but, I've always loved to act, but I didn't know how much that I'd love to do behind the scenes. I took extensive theater arts classes. So I learned how to do applying prosthetics, creating bruises, the main stuff you need to create a horror film.
Yeah.
So I'm known for my blood, actually. Sometimes they joke around on set and they'll call me the Queen of Torture. So I don't know if I can go in depth, but we did a couple short films called Wretched Cunt. And some of the things that we did in that, I actually co-wrote with Amir, and they were my ideas. And they're pretty gruesome things that we do.
Yes, I have seen the two thus far, and I do believe he's planning on potentially doing other ones. Is that correct? Somewhere along the line?
Yes, we have discussed doing a third. We usually discuss a lot of films, and it depends on timing and who we can find to do those films and what works out well for us. Because we have great supporters that follow us, but a lot of what we do comes from our pockets and from our hands and hard work. So
okay, so we're going to lead you into the next question then. So what have you been currently working on, or have planned to work on in the future?
So currently we're working on a film called Anthropocene. So we started this. It's a transitional film that we actually started in January. So you follow some characters in this film, and you watch it as the world kind of slowly is dying.
So like now then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, and the funny thing is we started this well before the COVID-19 hit us. So it just is how it worked out. And, it's visually going to be great. And it's something that Amir, myself, and Jake Hodgins, we all are working on really hard and diligently. We have a lot of great actresses and actors that are involved, which even makes it even better because, acting can make or break a film sometimes. So it's always great to find people who are willing to lend that talent.
Yeah. So that's what you're currently working on.
Yeah.
And do you have anything lined up? Obviously, that's the one you're doing now, but do you have anything lined up in the future?
We've been talking about some things, throwing things around. The hard thing is now we can't plan on when we can start filming, which sometimes determines, the setting of our film. And right now with COVID-19, that kind of makes it a little difficult. We can still work on Anthropocene because the whole thought process of the film, we can film some things from far away. So that's a bit easier. But we'll see. I'm also in Anthropocene as well. I'm acting in that. So you'll see a transition in January. I'm a bigger person with like lots of black, and you can't really see me, and you'll see how I transition. So it's kind of showing what happens when life hits you hard.
Okay. So we'll split this question into two, because obviously you do two different kind of things. So what advice would you have for upcoming actors or actresses, and for people who just want to get in the film industry, behind the camera, being a writer, etc.?
Two things that I will say on either one of those ends. Upcoming actors, no matter who's told you you're great, no matter how great you think you are, there's always someone better. And be humble and accept the experiences and the knowledge that other people can give you. And for people who want to work behind the scenes, volunteer. Find a film company that you mesh well with in your area, and volunteer the heck out of it, because you will make so many friends and you will learn so many different things about film, and it will open so many doors. People can help you. They can make or break you.
Okay, so on to your last question, which is obviously promote yourself, your channel. If you've got a YouTube channel, if you've got a website, of course, where people can potentially buy Foxtrot movies. That'd be a good thing to do, wouldn't it?
So we have a couple films on Amazon Prime. Those are more of our not as gruesome films, obviously, because Prime won't allow that.
Oh, no.
And then also Kanaki.com. And all of that information is on our Facebook page, Foxtrot Productions. And we also have a YouTube page as well, which is Foxtrot Productions.
Okay. Well, that is it. Thank you for your time. Wish you the best for your the projects that are kind of on hold at the moment, but hopefully soon you'll be back to being the queen of torture.
I'm good at it. What can I say?
Thank you very much, and I shall let you go. So
Thanks.
I will